On April 5th, at their regular meeting, the Portland City Council voted 7-1 in favor of a resolution asking the U.S. Congress to end the expenditure of our citizens' tax dollars for excessive and unaffordable war funding. The resolution was requested by Gary Higginbottom and sponsored by Councilors John Anton, Dory Waxman, and Dan Skolnick. John Anton gave his reasons for sponsoring the bill.
We have a number of studies. The superintendent would tell you, the school committee would tell you, the parents would tell you, the whole school needs to be rebuilt. We don't have the money to do that. The school budget, there's $4 million in this year's school budget that comes from the ARA stabilization funds. That money goes away next year, and we don't have $4 million to replace that. As the resolution says, if you are to calculate out the war expenditures on a per capita basis, roughly $15 million a year has been spent on a per capita basis vis-a-vis the citizens of Portland. That's money that next year hopefully will be spent to stabilize our school budget rather than perpetuate these wars. I'm prepared to do the work I need to do as a city councilor on the finance committee around setting priorities and eliminating things I would rather not eliminate, and eliminating things that we probably should eliminate a long time ago. I think if anyone has observed my service on the council, I'm willing to make cuts. I'm not someone who is, I would not consider myself profligate. So really what I consider this resolution to do is to communicate as us, should it pass, the elected leaders of this city, to our elected representatives in Washington, that we would like them to change their budget priorities. And we have a very specific set of, in addition to perhaps our philosophical objections to the war, we also have very specific budget alternatives that we think the money would be better spent on.
Unlike similar measures which have come before cities and towns in other parts of the country, the resolution approved 7-1 Monday night didn't question war rationale or the justness of the campaigns themselves. Instead, the resolution argues that we no longer can afford the wars given the fragile economy and deep budget cuts seen in communities across the state and the nation. Portland City Councilor John Coyne.
The real fact is that we need a sustainable plan to help bring our U.S. troops back to this country, get out of where we are, and do it in a well thought out way. I think this talks a little bit about micromanaging. I know that we get a lot of advice from people about how we should manage our budget. We, in turn, are turning to our federal colleagues to tell them how to manage their budget. I've had personal experience with the refugee community and a couple of folks that have come here and really appreciated what's going on, especially a couple of Iraqi refugees who I have as clients from their history of what's gone on over there and how the United States has come in and actually made things better. They left because, in their words, it was crazy there, the leadership and all that. So I guess after speaking out loud here for a minute or two, I'm not really supportive of this resolution, so I will end with that.
A rough draft was written by Gary Higginbottom, a 60-year-old consultant who lives in the West End. Based on his calculations, Portland's share of war expenses come to $15 million a year. Higginbottom arrives at those figures by dividing the total cost of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars by Portland's total population. This is Jeffrey Sule Phillips in Portland for Community Update.